Greetings and salutations, viewer. Well, today we're going to have a look at the Great Artesian Basin and maybe a threat to it. Don't know, hard to say. Don't know enough about the science, but let's be aware of it anyway. So let's quantify it. Let's look at the Great Artesian Basin. Let's look at what they're planning to do and what likely effects or possible effects it might have. But yeah, I can't help but not trust these companies, but profit before people. Was that it? Or people before profit? Anyway, you know what I'm going to say. Let's rock. Well, folks, here's a diagram of the Great Artesian Basin. Its vertical extent has been somewhat extended, but when they call it the Great Artesian Basin, they mean great. This thing is huge. Absolutely huge. Here's a map that hasn't been distorted. This is the size of this thing. And it's under attack from overuse. They just let bores run for 100 years, from fracking in areas in New South Wales that are in this basin. So, yeah, we got to look after this thing. So let's have a look at its structure. The one thing I want you to look at there is a thing labelled the precipice sandstone. I'll put an arrow on it for you. And we've got others above the Hutton sandstone you might remember from the Mount Moffat video. So these bores, they're a gift. If there was a God, they'd be a gift from God. But let me tell you, without this water, there is no agriculture in Western Queensland, New South Wales, or South Australia. There just isn't. So this is out at, I think this is out at Thargomindah. Yeah, you know, when it rains out there, it rains, don't get me wrong, but, you know, you go from having no rain to having everything washed away. So you need this water. And the Artesian Basin is just an amazing structure. As you can see here, this is also exaggerated vertically, but that dotted line is the bottom edge of the basin. And as you can see, it goes from basically southeast Queensland through to Lake Eyre in South Australia. It's an enormous structure. And it holds a lot of water, but the water takes nearly 1 million years to get from one side to the other, even longer. All right, now we're going to talk today about the precipice sandstone. Here's a road cutting on the Carnarvon Highway where it's actually been exposed by the cutting. You can see the stone on top of it, the stone at the bottom, and this is a slightly different sandstone. The Hutton sandstone sits on top of it. This is quite a good illustration. In front of these guys is the precipice sandstone, and the stuff above it is the Hutton sandstone, which you see all those monuments and stuff made out of in the Carnarvon area. So these aquifers there actually hold water. And this is in the Carnarvon Gorge. This is the precipice sandstone in a place called the Amphitheatre that's perfectly visible in the Carnarvon Gorge. You can walk in here if you're keen, but yeah, it's an amazing structure. It really is. Carnarvon Gorge is fantastic. This is a shot of the gorge I took for you at the beginning, exposing the geology. The red stuff is volcanic. That's from our old mate, the Cosgrove hotspot. Everything below that is different types of sandstone, and on the bottom of that green is the precipice sandstone. Here's a little shot of the gorge. I'll put an arrow on it that holds the amphitheatre, and right underneath that is this precipice sandstone. So it's not exposed everywhere, but this is where it gets charged up with water. All the rain that falls charges it with water and it flows through. Here's a shot of the Carnarvon Gorge here from their brochure, and you'll see the amphitheatre mark there. It's an awesome place. You must go. So, Artesian Basin. We got to have it or Australia changes. So what's going wrong then?
And now for something completely different.
Well, folks, we're talking about these things. This is the top of a power station. Out it is coming smoke. Well, mainly water, actually, but there is some nasty stuff in there, particularly carbon dioxide. So when you burn coal, which is what we're talking about today, when you burn coal, the oxygen comes from the atmosphere. The atmosphere is about 21% oxygen. The rest is nitrogen. You can forget everything else. And even though the nitrogen doesn't play any part in combustion, and a power station, because it's a managed combustion, they don't make nitrous oxides. They're pretty good at that. But if they get their stoichiometry wrong, they can make carbon monoxide, which is nasty, instead of carbon dioxide. But the nitrogen does play a part because it gets hot and it's used to transfer the heat from the combustion area through to the boiler to transfer the heat into the water. So it does play a part. And the main thing is that what's coming out of here is a shit ton of carbon dioxide. And we've got to do something with it. I think we all agree. We've got to stop, chucking this shit into the atmosphere if we possibly can. Only when we need to, anyway. Now, there's a lot more going on in the combustion here than what I've just said. There's sulphur involved and there's other things. But for now, we'll just deal with this because it's the carbon dioxide that our story's about today. This is a mob called Glencore. This is their Australian website. This is their American website. Draw whatever you like from that. They want to start, they own a company that's involved in storing and transporting carbon dioxide. This power station at Moormerrin, awesome little power station, they want to take the carbon dioxide outputs from this, which by the way is conveniently built right next to a coal mine, which Glencore own, which is really good. So they just send her over on a conveyor, no trucks required, no trains required, which is good. So they're going to take this, the carbon dioxide from this place, turn it into a liquid and inject it back into the Artesian Basin. So happy days, right? All we get instead of the normal water, we get nice sparkling mineral water. Yeah, not so fast. And they're going to do this at a place just outside of Mooney. That purple line, by the way, is the one of the pipelines going through to Brisbane. They're going to inject it in there at about 1,500 feet. So I don't know, it's 500 metres down, maybe a little more. Let's just have a little refresh on this. We're going to zoom up a bit and just show you where they're going to do this. So, yeah, they're going to do it somewhere over here. It's not completely correct, but it's, close enough for our purposes. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. Well, GeoNerd, here's a phase diagram for carbon dioxide. So, as you can see on this, at 1 atmosphere, it needs to be at minus 78 degrees C. At 5 atmospheres, minus 56 degrees C. And if you want to get this thing to room temperature at Moormerrin, 31 C, 73 atmospheres. That's 73 times 14 psi. And it's got to stay that way until it gets into the rock. Otherwise, it's going to flash to solid carbon dioxide, i.e. dry ice. I'll show you that in a minute. So, A, whether this is possible, I don't know. B, who's going to pay for this? There's a lot of energy involved in doing this, transporting it, etc., etc. So, yeah, I don't think Glencore intend to pay for it. So, let's have a look at making some liquid CO2. So, we have some dry ice in a soft drink bottle preform. And what he's going to do, he's going to put some heat on it to cause it to sublimate. Once the gas sublimates and puts it under pressure, you'll see it start to form liquid CO2. There it is there. You can see little bits of it forming there. And this is liquid CO2, and it's only like this because this is a pressure vessel now, and it's been able to hold the pressure. Right? Now we're going to have a look at it when you release the pressure. It just flashes immediately back to dry ice. So what could go wrong underground? Well, we're pumping this into rock strata that far down. It's probably going to be 40, 50 degrees C. I'm not seeing it. I know these are smart people, but I'm not seeing it. So we're going to drill a crap load of these. The boys in high-vis out there building the country. I have nothing but respect for these people, men and women, nothing but respect. They're not the shiny asses making the decisions. They're out there making it happen. And they're going to make a whole heap of these things. Just the word injection and weld together scare me. But anyway, they're going to be injecting this liquid CO2. Yeah, good luck. However, what about, this sort of thing where carbon dioxide joins with water and turns into carbonic acid? Now, carbonic acid is not a particularly strong acid. It's only about 6 to 6.5, so it's not particularly acidic. But it's more acidic than the water that's in there. And there are minerals there that don't dissolve in what's there now that will dissolve in this. What minerals? Who knows? Well, I hope they're not poisonous to cattle, or people, or sheep. Anyway, this is where they're going to do it. I'm sorry about the quality of this image. We're looking at about 2,000 feet something down, metres down, 80 degrees C and 3,270 psi. I don't even imagine that. So they want to do 110,000 tonnes of this a year. Now, tons, whatever you want to do. One of these things, a B-double cryo tanker, holds about 50 tons. That's 2,000 of these a year between Millmerran and the injection site, backwards and forwards every day. And I bet you don't just kick a valve and it just empties itself into the ground. I bet it takes time. So, great, it's going to employ some truck drivers and some people who handle cryo liquids. But really? So, this road, here it is here, I'll put the road up for you, goes from the power station there through Millmerran. Hey, everyone in town, hope you like B-doubles. Down the highway, back up again to Mooney, then down to the site. I can't see that lasting too long, but anyway, good luck. Yes, it's good that they're thinking of ideas and they're thinking out of the box, but to me, just in my humble opinion, this sounds ludicrous. The cost of this is going to be enormous. The only way they will ever do this is with massive government subsidies. So why would we subsidise this junk when we can burn LNG, which we've got so much of already anyway, or just pave the whole country with solar panels and wind farms and build some storage. Anyway, that's my 2 bobs worth. Well, viewer, there you go. That's the Millmerran Liquid CO2 Injection Project from Glencore. Great idea. 1 or 2 details probably need to be ironed out. The main one, who's going to pay for this long term? Anyway, there you go for today. Thank you to all you new subscribers. And remember, keep rocking. T-Rock's out.